Hi there. Thank you for joining me for the introduction to the Memoir Writing Masterclass. This masterclass is going to help you make an impact with your memoir in a cost-effective and time-efficient manner. So we'll go ahead and get started here with the introduction. This is going to be about how to overcome fears, embrace the process, and write. So sadiadow.com to purchase the masterclass in entirety and to sign up for the newsletter. Just a heads up, when you do go to my website to do that, you will have to click on the link that says intro to masterclass and unlock purchase. Okay. So does this sound like you? You would like to put your story out there, but you're afraid of hurting someone. Or maybe you're afraid of the pain or the trauma of writing and reliving the story yourself. Maybe you don't know where to start. Maybe you're not sure what is important to share and what to leave out. Maybe you have some legal questions, or you don't know how to publish. Maybe you don't know how to market and sell the book once you do have it published. So who am I? My name is Sadia Dow. I am the author of Saving Sadia, which is an immersive childhood trauma memoir. It's become an inspirational piece for abuse survivors. And I'm an entrepreneur and mentor. So I'm passionate about helping you tell your impactful story in a cost-effective and time-efficient manner. So this is what you're going to learn today for free: how to overcome fear and create a safe writing experience that you can enjoy and may also be healing. What the masterclass will teach you is really how to dive into that safe space of writing, legal considerations, self-publishing and traditional publishing considerations, how to write your story, what's important to share, how to make an impact and be relatable, how to market and sell your story, and how to have a positive experience, like I said. So fear. Fear is the number one thing that I hear about when people talk to me about writing their memoir. So let's talk about how to overcome that and tell your story like a badass. Are you afraid of hurting someone? Afraid of what someone will say or do to you in retaliation? That was me. Afraid of reliving the pain of your story? That was me. Afraid of being judged? You got it. All those things. So fear is natural. We all experience it. It's very uncomfortable and it can be paralyzing, which is probably one reason why you haven't written your story yet. So if you're watching this, you already know that you have a very important story to tell. Scenario one, and let's go through an example here. Someone who hurt you could experience hurt through reading your story. Does that apply to you? That definitely applied to me. So these are the things that I had to remember when I decided to write my memoir. They shouldn't have behaved badly if they didn't want to be portrayed badly. Telling your truth is going to heal you and probably someone else. Putting your story out there could help that person to not hurt someone else. It might inspire them to change, and maybe it will inspire them to tell their truth as well. There's always more than one side to a story, right? Even your life story. So you're going to go out there with the intention to heal and to provide impact, not to hurt. So you are not in control of anyone's feelings. And I liked this quote: "It's okay to be brave and afraid at the same time." So this is my little man. Embrace your story. You're safe, you matter, and the truth will set you free. So I really liked this because my little guy definitely reminds me that I matter and my story matters. So addressing fears, second scenario. You're afraid of backlash or retaliation from someone in the story. I hear you. There's different levels to this, right? So there's someone that maybe will contact you and say something nasty, or maybe they'll call you and hang up, or maybe they'll send you some nasty texts. But then there's also the other reality is that some people's stories, life and death, can be a concern. So if that is you, then there are options such as writing the story anonymously or under a pseudonym, change up all the characters so they're not identifiable, and publish it as a fiction. So putting it out there as a fiction, not a memoir, might be the way to go in that. But you can still tell that story. And the only people that will ever know that that was a memoir or that there was any truth to it are going to be who you want to know that and who's safe to know, right? If this is a childhood story, remind yourself that you are an adult. It sounds so silly to say out loud, but this is something that I went through very strongly, with my process. And I think maybe it can help somebody else, is that when you're in these memories, in these moments, things are really scary. To remind yourself that, what can they really do? What can they really do? I'm not a child anymore. I'm not that helpless person that could be kicked around anymore. I'm an adult. So remembering that, staying in the present, staying realistic. Take your power back. This is your opportunity to take power. You deserve it. Own it. Own your story, and don't let anybody else own your story. Okay? So telling your truth puts you in control. That's a good place to be. Take your power back. So I share these pictures because on the left there, that was me at my very first book signing. And I reverted back into being terrified. Not only because I was worried about the judgment of others, I guess, was one thing, but I was scared that somebody that was in my memoir might come to the book signing and berate me, or put me on the spot, or make me feel uncomfortable, or make me feel unsafe. So that was a very real fear that day. But I tried to stay present, stay realistic. Realistically, I don't think that somebody would want to be present for that. So, and the other thing is that I am an adult. So I'm not that child, even though on the inside, I still feel like that child sometimes. And the reason why I put a picture of my crazy haired daughter is because she has given me so much strength. And of course, if you read my prologue to my book, you would know that I feel very strongly about embracing my story, telling my story, and being incredibly strong and, brave. I want my daughter to know that her mama's got her back. She can be strong, she can be brave, she can do anything in this world, and she's going to be safe and she's going to be okay. So I'm not going to let anyone silence me. Don't let anyone silence you. And know who you're doing it for. Okay. It might not just be you, maybe it's somebody else as well. Scenario 3. You're afraid of reliving your story, the trauma, and pain. I know this firsthand. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm sure that many of you probably also have that, if not, some other things going on as well. I do as well. There's no shame in it. It's just reality. So these are some things that I remind myself that I would also like to remind you. Your feelings, your fears, those things are justified. Your story happened. This is your reality, and all your emotions, all your feelings that are associated with your story, with your past, it's all justified and it shouldn't be ignored. You can embrace them. Recognize what the feelings are and embrace them. It's who you are and it's okay. So overcoming trauma, I kind of don't like to say overcoming trauma, maybe more of like coping with trauma does require some level of facing the trauma. So acknowledging it versus being in denial of it. So, really knowing, these things happened and it's not okay that it happened, but it did happen. And I feel, I react, I am who I am because, as a product of whatever trauma, whatever past that I have. And that piece of it is okay. The person that you are today is okay to be. And, you deserve to face the past, face your trauma head on, and in turn, remove some of its power. When we distract ourselves and when we sort of run from the pain, it's natural because we don't want to feel hurt. We don't want to feel pain. We don't want to suffer. We've already been through enough pain, right? So we run from it. But we do have to allow ourselves to feel and to acknowledge and to face pain and trauma. It doesn't have to be all at once, bit by bit, in a safe way where it feels okay, like little bites, little tiny bites that you can handle over time and that you can deal with pieces over time. Don't expect that you're going to sit down in one night and write down all the terrible things that happened to you and be okay afterwards. That's not the way that this is going to work. This is going to be, on your own timeline. You'll see what works for you. And we will talk more about that later. The other thing about that I do want to address is that I realize that not all of this is going to be, things like abuse. So sort of on the other side of that, loss, traumatic loss, things like that. I'm trying to think of other things off the top of my head, but I can't right now, but there's lots of stories out there. Everybody's got their own little piece to give. And sometimes we have to give trauma and loss a reason to have existed in order to move forward. And what I mean by that is not by saying that it happened for a reason or something. I don't want to say it like that because I know that sort of minimizes things, and that's not what I mean. What I mean is that something terrible happened. You were the victim of that something terrible happening, no matter what it was. And that's never going to be okay, but it did happen. So why don't we think that, by putting it out there, by sharing that experience with the world, we are giving life and reason and transforming that trauma into something that can exist for a reason. So something that maybe will help somebody or inspire somebody. It'll give it some life and some goodness that you did that. You are feeling that experience of goodness and sharing that so that it doesn't have to be all just this hell, right? Something good is coming from it. So that's what I mean. Okay. We will be discussing coping strategies in the masterclass. It's important to feel things. We will discuss how to cope, like I said, and manage more in detail during the actual writing process. So it's gonna sting probably. Writing your memoir is probably gonna sting, but you'll be okay. You've been through worse. So you can take your time, and we're gonna be in this together, and you're gonna have the best possible experience. I promise. So what you've learned so far, you are not in control of other people's feelings. Telling the truth will empower you and others. You can tell your story in a safe and enjoyable way. Your feelings are valid. You can do it afraid. You can be brave and still be afraid. Also, you've probably learned that I swear a little bit. I'm not going to fill you with any kind of fluff, and I'm going to give you a lot of value for your money. So this is what you can expect from the masterclass. I'm going to support your emotions and give you coping strategies that work during the writing process. I will walk you through my personal writing exercises to get the story, give your story the voice it deserves. I'm going to explain differences between self-publishing and traditional publishing, as well as show you how I publish my story. I will outline some legality and safety considerations. I will help you identify how to start writing, what to include in your story, and what to leave out. And I will show you how to market your story in a cost-effective manner. So I'm passionate about it because I did it. And here's my two babies together with me on the couch. We're all in this together. We're going to be in constant communication via email. Zooms can be scheduled as needed. Excuse me, you will have forever access to a Facebook group of your peers, so other people that have purchased the class, for continued support and to share your success stories and failures, whatever. We all have them just to share. Healing, inspiring, and marketing is all invaluable information that you will use for a lifetime, whether writing your memoir or in other aspects of your life. So I have poured my heart and soul into this class, and I am offering it for the low cost of $97. So details here, you're going to get unlimited access to the webinar for 24 hours. You will have lifetime access to the Facebook group. You will have lifetime access to me for questions and continued support via email communication. We can do the occasional Zoom support as appropriate. You will have a printable resource. And this is my website, sadiadow.com, to enroll in your class and to be added to my newsletter, unless you're already in it, and then it'll just put you into the class. So what will happen is when you go to sadiadow.com, you will see about 4 links down from the top. It says intro to memoir writing class, and then I'll dash, and then I'll say also to unlock your ability to purchase. So you have to go through that form to put in your name and your email in order to get your unlock code to purchase the masterclass. So you will get an email for this intro, but you can ignore it if you've already seen it on social media or whatever, and then just purchase the class. And I will be getting in touch with you ASAP to give you instructions on how to access that masterclass once you have paid for it. I'm very excited to be able to be with you on this journey. It's a complete honor and can't wait to talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.